Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are diving headfirst into something pretty wild, the car rental market on Maui. Specifically, the week starting November 3rd, 2025. I mean, forget gentle waves. These price charts look like a Category 5 hurricane just blew through.
They really do, yeah. If you're planning a trip to Maui right now, you've probably already felt that sticker shock.
Yeah.
We're seeing prices for, your standard cars, compacts, mid-size, even minivans, they've more than doubled in just one week.
Doubled. And it gets worse, right? The bigger vehicles.
Oh, yeah. Standard SUVs and the seven-seaters, those prices more than tripled. Just
Yeah.
boom, overnight.
Okay, let's unpack this. This isn't just a little market movement. This is a major spike. And what's really interesting, our analysis shows this looks weirdly familiar, kind of a repeat of that price roller coaster we saw around this exact time last year.
That's the key thing, isn't it? Why again? Why now? So our mission today really is threefold. First, what on earth drove this immediate massive surge? We need to figure that out. Second, we need to put these crazy prices into context. How do they stack up historically, especially against the 52-week median? That's the number you should be able to budget around.
Exactly. And third, and maybe most important for anyone thinking about Thanksgiving or December travel, what's the play? Do you book that car now, like right this second? Or is there still a chance for a last-minute deal? We need to give you the strategy here.
Right. Let's start with the numbers. Cold, hard facts. A one-week rental starting November 3rd, picking up at Kahului Airport OGG. The cheapest car, an economy from Hertz, is now $589 for the week.
Ooh, $589 for the cheapest car. Let that sink in. That's a 163% jump from just the week before. That's hundreds of dollars just vanished from the vacation budget. Money for like food or activities, gone.
Precisely. And it's not just economy. The whole sedan class is feeling it. Mid-size cars, 688% increase. Also Hertz, that's a 148% increase. If you waited, well, that wait just cost you big time.
Brutal. But the real jaw dropper, like you said, the family vehicles. SUVs saw the biggest percentage leaps. Six seems to have most of them this week.
Yeah, standard SUV is $965. $965. And a seven-seat SUV, get ready for this, $11,185.
Wow.
Both jumped about 230% week over week. And minivans, the classic family hauler, $12,225 a week from budget. That's up 177%. If you've got a big family, that car might cost more than your flights.
This is where it gets really weird, though. The numbers are just off the charts.
But there's one exception, right? The convertible.
Yes, the convertible anomaly, we're calling it. They only went up about 24% to $1,199 a week from Thrifty. But crucially, they were already really expensive. They started at an elevated level, so the percentage jump looks smaller.
Okay, but here's the kicker. Why did this happen? The analysts looked into it.
And they said the reason is not clear.
Yeah.
Which is unhelpful. It's not clear. But wait, there's more to that, isn't there? Something about the number of cars available.
Exactly. This is the puzzling part. They noted there's an abundant quantity of vehicles just sitting there. At the rental company, lots, idle.
Hold on. Abundant supply. Lots full of cars. But prices are tripling.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense with simple supply and demand. Is it like an algorithm glitch? Or are they trying to make up for lost money earlier?
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? The cars are physically there. But something in the system, the dynamic pricing algorithms, may be predicting a huge spike in demand, or maybe factoring in maintenance schedules or staffing, something signaled scarcity. Even when the metal was on the ground, it's like the system overreacted maybe. Massively. To understand why it reacted like that, we need that historical view.
Okay, let's do that. Compare it to the 52-week median. If you paid almost $600 for an economy car this week, how bad is that compared to the average for the year?
It's bad, like really bad. Every single car type is way, way above the 52-week median right now. Take that economy car at $589. The median is 269% over the typical median price. Midsize cars, $688 versus a median of $340. That's 102% over.
So you're basically paying double what you might have reasonably expected based on the whole year's trend. That's just wild volatility.
And think about this. This is a complete flip from the week before. The analysis says it's in marked contrast because just last week, almost every car type was actually cheaper than the median. They were at a discount. Imagine booking 2 weeks ago versus booking this week. Hundreds of dollars difference, same car.
Okay, let's zoom out even further, year over year. How do these November 2025 prices look compared to November 2024? Is this just correcting from a super cheap period last year?
Not really, especially for some categories. The biggest year-to-year jump, maybe surprisingly, is actually those convertibles again. They're up 169% compared to last November's $446 price. Analysts think that might be because of delays getting the new convertible fleet into service, so like a genuine short-term supply issue for that specific fun car.
Okay, that makes some sense for a niche vehicle. What about the big family movers? SUVs, minivans. They're also way up year over year, right? Around 80%.
Yeah, between 78% and 81% up compared to last year. The thinking there is maybe it's a kind of hangover effect. Remember that minivan shortage linked to a vehicle recall earlier in the summer? Even if the recall's fixed, it might have messed up the fleet balance, the distribution, and that effect is still pushing prices up now.
Right, ripples from earlier problems. Interesting. But Jeeps are different. I saw they're the only category that's actually cheaper than last year.
Yeah, down about 6%. Just Jeeps. And the sedans, your basic compacts and midsize, they're up, but not astronomically. Only 16% to 32% year over year. The analysis suggests this could be, and it's a cautious could, a sign that visitor numbers are maybe starting a slow, gradual recovery after the Lahaina wildfires in August 2023. Numbers are getting a bit more stable, perhaps, but the market's definitely still feeling those impacts.
Okay, so the picture is prices are crazy high, super volatile, way above normal. Which brings us back to the strategy question for you, the listener.
Yeah.
What do you do? For ages, the advice was book early, but then that changed, didn't it? We saw a period where waiting was better.
We absolutely did. For a long stretch, like mid-February right through to early October this year, waiting paid off. Last-minute bookings a day ahead, a week ahead were consistently cheaper than booking 5 weeks out. People were actually rewarded for waiting.
But using that strategy now sounds like financial suicide.
Totally reversed, yeah. For most of October, and definitely this week, booking last minute is costing way more than booking ahead. It's the clearest sign of intense demand pressure right now. The system is basically charging you a massive penalty for not booking sooner.
Let's make that really concrete. That example for booking tomorrow, November 3rd. If you waited until today for that airport rental at OGG, that $589 price is almost double what it cost 5 weeks ago. Back then, it was just $309.
Exactly. Double the price for waiting 5 weeks. And if you tried to get clever and book off-airport last minute, forget about it. The last-minute off-airport price was $668. That's more than triple the price from 5 weeks ago, which was only $165.
Triple? Wow. That kind of jump really suggests they were, like, completely surprised by the demand, doesn't it? Caught flat-footed, as the analysis put it.
It really does. It suggests the actual demand just blew past whatever their systems were expecting.
So given how jumpy the market is, what's the forecast say for Thanksgiving? That's always huge for travel.
Well, the current forecast is interesting. It actually suggests prices might dip a bit, week by week, leading up to Thanksgiving. But that relief looks temporary. The forecast sees prices shooting right back up again after Thanksgiving, heading into early December.
Relying on a predicted dip right before one of the busiest travel weeks of the year, that feels like a massive gamble, given what we just saw.
It absolutely does, yeah. The expert advice, looking at this data, book Thanksgiving now, period. Think of it like insurance against another one of these crazy spikes. That old rule about last-minute deals being better, it's dead. At least on Maui, for now.
Okay, another piece of common wisdom to test. Airport rentals are always pricier than off-airport, right? Because of taxes, fees, convenience.
Yeah, that's the usual thinking. But what's fascinating is right now on Maui, that rule is kind of broken. Our deep dive shows it does not hold true all the time across all vehicle categories, especially not this week. Counterintuitively, sedans, compact, and midsize are actually more expensive off-airport right now.
More expensive off-airport. How does that happen?
Minivans are the only ones where you clearly save money going off-airport this week. Jeeps and SUVs, about the same price either way.
Why would the airport be cheaper for some cars? That seems backwards.
It probably boils down to supply issues at the smaller off-airport places. They've been under pressure since the 2023 fires. The analysis mentions that Jeeps, convertibles, and those 7-seat SUVs are sometimes consistently cheaper at the airport. Why? Probably because the smaller off-airport spots just don't have as many. Maybe they closed or cut back operations. They can't stock the variety.
And that lack of stock is showing up right now, isn't it? Some cars just aren't available off-airport.
Exactly. This week, if you want a convertible or a 7-seat SUV, you can't get one off-airport, period. Your only choice is OGG Airport. And less competition, well, that affects prices.
All right, last piece of context. How does Maui stack up against the other Hawaiian Islands now? It used to be the cheap one for rentals, relatively speaking.
It really did. For a long time, 23 out of the last 30 weeks, actually Maui was the cheapest spot in Hawaii to rent a car, the reliable bargain island.
And now, after this spike,
Totally different story. This week, Maui's median category price hit $570. Kona, on the Big Island, hit $686. Those are increases to 226% for Maui and 186% for Kona in just 1 week. The volatility is really focused there.
So where does that put Maui in the Hawaii rankings now? Definitely not the cheapest anymore.
Nope. Maui's now the second most expensive airport in Hawaii for car rentals. Only Kauai is higher at $292. Wait, no, Kauai is cheaper at $292. Honolulu is $230. Let me recheck that. Sorry, my mistake reading the numbers quickly. Kauai is $292, Honolulu $230. Maui at $570 is significantly more expensive than those. Kona at $686 is the most expensive. So Maui is second most expensive. The point is the huge spikes were really localized to Maui and Kona. Honolulu only saw a tiny 1% increase. This Maui spike totally reshuffled the whole Hawaii rental scene in just 7 days.
Okay, wow. So this deep dive gives you, the listener, a lot to work with. Let's sum it up. Key takeaway 1. Maui prices are incredibly volatile right now, spiking way, way above the yearly average. You cannot budget based on that 52-week median at the moment.
Yeah, and the biggest practical lesson here is the strategy reversal. Forget waiting for last-minute deals. That historical advantage, gone. If you're traveling to Maui in November or December, booking now is where the savings are. Waiting likely means paying hundreds more. It's a penalty fare now.
And connecting back to that weird situation, lots of cars available, but prices skyrocketing.
Mm.
The analysis really points to actual demand, just crushing expected demand. The rental companies' forecasts, their algorithms, they just got it wrong this week.
Completely. They were caught flat-footed, as the report says, despite having the physical cars. Which leaves us with a final thought for you to consider. If the systems that set these prices can be so easily overwhelmed, leading to triple-digit spikes even when cars are sitting there, what does that really say about how reliable this whole dynamic pricing model is? And maybe more importantly, how quickly can this market even stabilize before the next unexpected surge hits? It feels like it's operating on a hair trigger.